What up? And welcome to another episode of From the Script to the Screen Fairy Tale Edition. Episode 24 of 100 Year Quest is out now. So as always, you guys already know, gotta give a shout out to the studio, JC staff, and want to give a shout out to the creator, Hiro Mashima, and artist, Atsuo Ueda. Another dope episode. They covered chapters 84, 85, 86, and 87, still on volume 10, and just still continuing off the battles between the moon divinities, Fairy Tail, Suzaku, and Selene, the moon dragon god. And Lucy was able to take care of business last week, and this week we see Gray fighting the other moon divinity, who also happens to have ice power just like him. And so even though she's been able to get the upper hand so far, in this episode, she turns to a strategy that ends up working against her. She puts Gray into a deep sleep that's supposed to recreate a fantasy for him, a life that he would have envisioned for himself if things would have worked out the way he had hoped. But we all know that Gray's past is somewhat tragic, and he has lost most of the people closest to him. And so just like we seen in Demon Slayer, these people assume that putting them in this dream or fantasy is something that they would hope for, but it actually ends up enraging them. They actually use it as fuel to try to beat the people that have turned their precious memories into weapons. So we see Gray go into his devil mode, something that he inherited from his father, and kick up a little bit. It turns into a maker battle. Who would be able to make or form the strongest weapon? And we know that Gray excels in this magic, so he's able to gain the upper hand in battle. Now when we shift to the battle between Suzaku and Selene, we know that she's had the upper hand throughout most. And we come to find out that the dragon that Suzaku has eaten to inherit his power, the Sword Saint Dragon, was actually one of Selene's sons. And that's why she says that she's familiar with the strikes and that it brings back memories. So when she starts to sleep on Suzaku a little bit, he takes advantage and powers up for one of his stronger attacks. So definitely my favorite panel of the week. We see Suzaku perform what he states is a combination between his form and the Sword Saint Dragon's form, and we see that he's able to damage Selene. And so even though they're both pretty beat up from the battle, Selene still has enough willpower to retreat, and we see that Suzaku ends up following her. So they disappear, at least for now. But at the end of the episode, we see that we're left off with these mysterious hands that are still popping up all over the place. And shout out to Wendy, who's definitely the MVP of this separate dimension or world. After doing some deductive skills, she comes to think that this weapon is similar to Face, and the fact that they're popping up all over the place could mean that they're all coming from one place. So they assume that the source would be underground, and when they do eventually get underground, we see them run into the actual main body of the hands. It's supposed to be a ancient magic weapon that's been around for a long time. It was kept in place for a little bit, but with Selene arriving to the world and all the influx of magic has made it awaken, and it's causing problems. So we kind of end up right back at square one, with Fairy Tail having to deal with the original task of what the White Mage wanted them for, and that's to help her stabilize the world. And we'll be on break next week. They mentioned that the season finale won't be the weekend of Christmas, but it'll be the weekend after. So looking forward to it. As always, let me know what you guys thought about the episode. And to the manga readers, let me know what you guys thought about the adaptation. Till next time. Peace.